Mike Tyson just crumbled Jake Paul, and it's all thanks to a bombshell from Mike Perry. This man has revealed a juicy secret he's been sitting on. And Jake? Well, let's just say he didn't take it well. He threw a tantrum that would put a toddler to shame. You know how they say people who've been up close and personal know the real dirt? Perry definitely fits that bill. He exposed one of Jake's cruel secrets. And trust me, it's a game changer that could seriously mess up Jake's future partnerships and sponsorships. After his victory against BKFC champ Mike Perry, Jake Paul was flying high with confidence. He wasn't just proud, he was outright mocking Perry and declaring that no name, including Mike Tyson's, could stand against him. This brash overconfidence was not without its reasons, as Perry revealed in the post-fight interview. Perry hinted at something much more controversial. He had seen Jake using performance-enhancing drugs, PEDs, that significantly boosted his performance.
The special stuff that you might be taking, I don't know. No, I'm just messing with you.
This nigga looks like a hot pocket, bro. Everyone says he be doing.
To understand the gravity of Perry's accusations, we need to revisit the fight between Jake Paul and Mike Perry. The fight took place on July 20th, 2024, and was one of the most anticipated matchups in recent boxing history. In the early rounds, Perry dominated, showcasing his experience and skill. He landed more punches, controlled the pace, and seemed to be on his way to a comfortable victory. However, as the fight progressed into the 4th and 5th rounds, something extraordinary happened. Jake Paul, who had been struggling to keep up, suddenly transformed into an entirely different fighter. Jake's transformation was nothing short of miraculous. He began moving with a speed and agility that seemed almost superhuman. His punches carried more power, and his endurance appeared boundless. Perry, who had been in control, found himself on the defensive, unable to counter Jake's newfound ferocity. This sudden change raised more than a few eyebrows and led to Perry's suspicions.
Whatever stuff I'm taking ain't working, bro.
He has a terrible build, bro. If he was taking shit.
That shit is
Well, actually, like, what do you think it is that about Jake that makes people say that he's on something? Like, what like, is it just the fact that he's progressed so much in the sport, but
I don't
also
know,
that
the fact that you went from like, cause I tried really hard.
Perry expressed his frustration and hinted that Jake's extraordinary performance might not have been entirely natural. According to Perry, Jake's transformation in the middle of the fight was suspiciously timed. Perry mentioned that he had noticed Jake drinking something unusual during the fight, which seemed to coincide with his sudden boost in performance. This observation led Perry to speculate that Jake might have been using PEDs. Performance-enhancing drugs in boxing are a serious issue. They can provide fighters with an unfair advantage by increasing their strength, speed, and endurance. The use of PEDs is strictly regulated and can lead to severe consequences if a fighter is caught. Perry's allegations were not just a slight against Jake's victory. They were a direct challenge to the legitimacy of his performance and his career. The incident with Mike Perry set the stage for an even bigger showdown. Enter Mike Tyson, one of the most legendary names in boxing history. Tyson, known for his ferocity, power, and mind games, is a fighter who commands respect and fear in equal measure. His decision to step into the ring with Jake Paul on November 15, 2024, added a new level of excitement and anticipation to the boxing world.
Same fate. I'm gonna knock out Jake Paul.
Tyson's entry into the fray was not just about proving his prowess. It was about defending the integrity of the sport. The fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson was more than just a contest of strength and skill. It was a battle between the old guard and the new, a clash of boxing philosophies and a test of legitimacy. Jake Paul, with his brash personality and controversial rise, represented a new era of boxing where entertainment often took precedence over tradition. His confidence, however, was now overshadowed by the allegations of PED use. Tyson, on the other hand, was seen as a defender of the sport's honor. He had nothing to prove in terms of his legacy, but much to uphold in terms of the sport's values. But Mike Tyson isn't the kind of guy who just lets allegations slide. Sure, the boxing world is full of wild rumors and false news, but Tyson? He's got a nose for the real deal. He didn't just accept a fight with Jake Paul, he threw down a challenge that sent shockwaves through the boxing scene. On July 25, 2024, Tyson upped the ante with 2 new rules for their big showdown, rules that were designed to shake things up. First up, Tyson introduced a random steroid test for Jake Paul. This wasn't your usual scheduled test that you can see coming a mile away. Nope, this one could happen any time between Tyson's announcement on July 25th and the fight on November 15, 2024. It was all about catching any funny business off guard. This unpredictability meant Jake couldn't plan his PED use to dodge detection. Tyson is all about a clean sport. He's seen firsthand how PEDs can mess up boxing's reputation, so this random test was a no-brainer. Inspired by the rigorous USADA protocols in the UFC, this rule aimed to make sure the fight was fair and square. The shadow of PEDs has been hanging over Jake ever since Mike Perry's post-fight bombshell, and Tyson wasn't about to let that slide. He wanted to clear the air and ensure a legit contest. Trust me, there are probably a million questions bouncing around in your head right now. In the crazy, high-stakes world of professional boxing, the temptation to use performance-enhancing drugs, PEDs, is sky high. I mean, who wouldn't want that extra boost of strength, speed, and endurance? But with all the rigorous testing protocols, athletes have gotten pretty sneaky with dodging these tests. And that's exactly why Mike Tyson's insistence on random steroid testing for his fight with Jake Paul is such a game changer. Athletes have all sorts of tricks up their sleeves to evade detection. One of the most common methods? Using masking agents. These are substances designed to hide the presence of PEDs in the system. Diuretics are a classic example. They make you pee like a racehorse, diluting the concentration of drugs in your urine. Remember UFC fighter Anderson Silva? Back in 2015, he tested positive for a diuretic called hydrochlorothiazide, which is used to mask steroids like drostanolone and androsterone. And diuretics are just one part of the story. Tyson's random steroid test rule ensures the fight with Jake Paul isn't just a spectacle, but a legitimate contest of skill, endurance, and strategy. Tyson's insistence on this rule shows his commitment to preserving the honor of boxing, a sport that's seen its share of doping scandals. By enforcing stringent measures, Tyson is not only protecting his legacy, but also setting a standard for future fights, ensuring victories are earned through talent and hard work, not chemical enhancements. The second rule laid down by Mike Tyson for his fight against Jake Paul is both simple and brutal. The match can only be decided by a knockout. This rule means no technical knockouts, TKOs, will be counted. Only a full knockout, where a fighter is completely incapacitated, will determine the winner. This stipulation adds an element of finality and brutality to the bout, ensuring that only the most decisive outcome will be accepted. A technical knockout, or TKO, occurs when a referee decides to stop the fight because one fighter is no longer able to defend themselves effectively. This decision is often made to protect the health and safety of the fighters. For example, if a boxer is taking too many unanswered punches and is at risk of serious injury, the referee will stop the fight, resulting in a TKO. This type of stoppage acknowledges the dominance of one fighter while prioritizing the safety of the other. In contrast, a full knockout leaves no room for ambiguity. A knockout, KO, happens when a fighter is hit with such force that they are rendered unconscious or otherwise unable to continue fight. This means they cannot stand up or respond to the referee's count of 10. A knockout is the ultimate display of power and precision, a clear and unequivocal end to the contest. The defeated fighter is left on the canvas, unable to rise, and the victor's dominance is undeniable. Historical fights offer a glimpse into how the knockout-only rule could have drastically altered the outcomes and narratives of some of boxing's most famous matches. One notable example is the fight between Lennox Lewis and Vitaly Klitschko on June 21, 2003. Klitschko was ahead on the scorecards when the fight was stopped due to a severe cut above his eye, resulting in a TKO victory for Lewis. Under Tyson's knockout-only rule, the fight would have continued, potentially changing the outcome entirely. Another significant example is the bout between Sugar Ray Leonard and Thomas Hearns on September 16, 1981. Leonard was declared the winner by TKO in the 14th round after a barrage of punches left Hearns unable to defend himself. If the knockout-only rule had been in place, Hearns might have had the opportunity to recover and continue. The rule also brings to mind the infamous fight between Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield on June 28, 1997, known for Tyson biting Holyfield's ear. The fight was stopped, and Holyfield was awarded a TKO victory due to Tyson's disqualification. Had the knockout-only rule been applied, the fight would have had to continue until one fighter was completely knocked out, potentially resulting in an even more brutal and decisive conclusion. This rule undeniably favors fighters with raw power and endurance. For Mike Tyson, known for his devastating knockout power, this stipulation plays directly into his strengths. Tyson's career is filled with highlight reel knockouts, such as his 1988 destruction of Michael Spinks in just 91 seconds, and his brutal KO of Trevor Berbick in 1986, to become the youngest heavyweight champion in history. Tyson's ability to deliver fight-ending punches with unparalleled speed and force makes him a formidable opponent under these rules. The brutality of the knockout-only rule cannot be overstated. It eliminates the possibility of a fight being stopped early, ensuring that both fighters must push themselves to their absolute limits. The rule demands that they engage in a war of attrition, where only the fighter who can outlast and overpower their opponent will emerge victorious. This makes the bout not just a test of skill, but a grueling endurance contest.